have a lot of things happening. One can cope with situations, one can keep on pushing oneself and carry on doing things. But then there's a moment when you say, oh, I need to sit down and be quiet.
You can't remove negativity, but you've got to dilute it.
You are the energy. You are the source. Connect yourself. You've got the source within you. Connect yourself, recharge yourself, and then get going. Whatever has to be done can be done.
Everyone has a breaking point. Everyone has a point where they need the support. And what Manav Dharam has also enabled my children, I think, to learn and progress in is to sit down themselves after a long day, but also to have that inclusiveness, to have that togetherness, to have that support structure.
Hello and welcome to the Modern Day Spirituality Podcast by Manav Dharam, a podcast dedicated to those in search of spiritual awareness and insights. We'll be speaking to many different people from different corners of the world, sharing their thoughts on their spiritual journeys. Today, we're delving into the topic of mental well-being. And I'm glad to say we've got two great guests with us here today, Veena and Vinai. Welcome both.
Thank you.
My name's Kavi, and I'll be your host for today. So thank you both for joining us. It's great to have you on the podcast. We sort of like to start the podcast by yourselves giving a bit of an introduction. So Vinai, if I can ask yourself to give a bit of an intro.
My name is Veena, and I'm involved in Manav Dharam Society for quite a while now. And it's a place where I feel very comfortable and happy to be. So that's what it is.
Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah.
Vinai, over to you.
Yeah, Vinai Palmer here. I'm an IT professional, also NLP master, Reiki master. Lots of hobbies, flying and fixing cars and all sorts of things I do. Yeah, that's me.
Awesome. Thanks for both joining us today on this topic we're going to be going into of mental well-being. And as the viewers at home will probably know, we like to start a lot of our podcasts with a bit of a definition. So today, slightly difficult one to define, obviously, mental well-being. So there are many mental well-being thoughts out there. However, mental wellness can be defined as the internal resource that helps us to think, feel, connect, and function. It's an active process that helps us to build resilience, growth, and flourish. So really quite in-depth definition there. I don't know if we want to kick off with, do we agree with that definition? Do we think it's not that? I don't know. Vinay, do you want to kick off?
Yeah, I think I do agree with that definition. Mental well-being is different for everyone. Mm-hmm. Everyone's state of mind is different at any given point, and therefore everything you've just mentioned there is the combination factor that comes together as the general mental well-being.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very good. So, Veena, what does mental well-being mean for you?
Well, I think it's a state where everyone would like to be in good, mental being, and it's a state that everybody would like to live in right through their lives. Yeah. But unfortunately, or sometimes due to some change in circumstances, one's mental well-being gets affected in some way or the other, either through an incident that affects one emotionally, or it can affect one financially, or it can affect just having taken some substances or something that has affected the physiology of the body, and the mind gets affected.
Okay.
So it's a situation where we would all like to rise above and be in a good state.
Yeah. I mean, that's the hardest part, right? In this world we live in, how do we get to that great mental state where we're in a good level? I think it's really a hard, probably, subject to even talk about. I don't know, Vinay, are there any sort of tools or influences that help you with your sort of well-being?
Yeah, I think for myself personally, my mental well-being is important to myself. Everyone's mental well-being is important to themselves. I think what's happening as the years are going by is that our generation and the next generation that's coming up really lack the tools to be able to cope with the challenging lives that everyone has on a day-to-day basis. And seeing this materialistic world which we live in, which we are part of, ourselves, we are made out of this earth, and it's very hard to differentiate sometimes between the two.
Yeah.
And therefore, I think rising yourself above that is a key point. Now, perhaps if we expand on that a little bit more, and if we just take a step back and think, okay, what makes a person do what they do? What makes a person think the way they do?
Yeah.
How do emotions come into this? How does your neurology and psychology play a part in your mental well-being?
Yeah.
And what a lot of the times we don't learn is the teachings and the ability to adapt, to have the tools in our toolbox of life that we need to meet these demands.
Okay, yeah, definitely. I think that's quite a key point there, because how does one know that tool's the correct tool to deal with that, right?
Correct.
I think for me personally, mental well-being is quite a difficult thing to even grasp, because it's, how do I know I'm actually in a good state of mental well-being? I think your surroundings probably impact you from that, right? Because for some people, a good mental well-being state may not be the same for other people. Absolutely. It's a state of, that may be a state of, I don't know, outcry or anger, whatever it may be. How do we actually know what a good, like, it's subjective, right? It's like I can say one thing, you can say something else, Veena. So how would you say that, what's your good mental well-being state, would you say?
It's a state where you're comfortable in dealing with whatever situation one is in. Whether it's a sad situation or a happy situation, an emotional situation. So it's a state how I can handle myself. And at the same time, if I feel there is somebody near me who needs assistance, I could help them with. And it's a state of well-being to cope with situations in whatever manner it is.
Yeah. Okay. And so on that, so because we are talking a lot around spirituality here, how does spirituality support that mental well-being?
Well, with the well-being, it's a great part of our lives. It's a part that keeps us going.
Yeah, definitely.
In whatever situation we are. So that means that we have to be energized by something.
Okay.
We have to have a lot of energy to cope with various situations. It's like having an electric car. You can drive around the whole day and night and maybe 2 days or 3 days, but then the battery goes low and one needs to charge it.
Yeah, definitely.
And with mental well-being also, one can have a lot of things happening. One can cope with situations. One can keep on pushing oneself and carry on doing things. But then there's a moment when you say, oh, I need to sit down and be quiet. And when you're being quiet, what are you doing to yourself? You are trying to quieten your mind and connect it to something more greater, something stronger, and that will recharge the mind. And what is that something that we need to concentrate on, or something that will enable us to recharge ourselves? That is the energy within us all, which we need to discover.
Okay, discovering is the key part that we're saying here, right?
Discovering that is very important. It's part of our journey on the planet. And to discover it, to know it, we need a guide.
Sure.
We need somebody who will enable us to recognize that form. And that form is our real self. And we need to know that self.
Sure.
And that self is what we are. And when one is connected to what the charger, the source, then one is full of energy, one is comfortable with any situation, one can cope with everything, and that's what our meditation does.
So the meditation that you're learning at Manav Dharam is supporting you along that journey. Is that what you're saying? Okay, great.
It enables us to quieten ourselves and be with the energy that we are, and recharge ourselves. I'm 76 now, and sometimes the things I'm doing, and I wonder at times, how do I do it? People laugh at me.
Where's the energy coming from?
How are you managing to do all this?
Yes.
I said, I don't know. I do my bit of little meditation I can do during the day, but I have a lot of things going on, and I try to
push through
cope with them. Yeah.
Very good. I guess. Sorry, Vinay, you wanted to add?
No. I think Vinaben is absolutely right there. I think taking it a step back a little bit and how we cope with the day-to-day lives.
Yeah.
It's almost like saying that whatever thoughts, emotions, trauma, drama that the life throws at you, it's having that set of quiet time, having that set of your own time to be able to deal with that. Now, for example, I think a lot in pictures, and that's how my mind is.
Sure.
And a lot of the times is that you can't remove negativity, but you've got to dilute it. You've got to bring positivity. Whatever's there is already there. And taking that even a step further, and when we say, okay, we have the conscious mind, and then we have the subconscious mind. And from that perspective, a lot of things that happen to a person, if it's really emotional, if it's really traumatic, goes into the subconscious mind.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's body's own self-defense mechanism or self-preservation mechanism.
Yes.
And it brings it back to the conscious mind when the subconscious thinks that, okay, this person or this mind or this consciousness can now deal with this situation.
Okay.
And I love the fact that Vinay spoke about meditation.
Yes.
And how having spirituality, now, you can call meditation, it can be a form of spirituality or another tool just within your toolbox to do that. And what that's really doing, and the quiet time, what that's really doing is giving your mind that ability to sort itself out, sort the connections out. Again, I come back to pictures. Your mind, there's a neurological map within your mind.
Yes.
Everything is associated. Now, some things are associated with positiveness, some things are associated with negativeness. Good emotions, bad emotions, right? And therefore, once you quieten your mind down, you're giving your mind that time it requires to organize itself. But you're also then developing your mind to be able to cope with that, so that you are not keeping a lot of negativity or trauma within your subconscious mind. And there's a whole big research about it. There's a whole big topic about it. And I think that is a very, very beautiful key point that Vinay talked about.
So you both spoke about meditation there, and I'm talking off personal experience here. I also do meditate as well through Manav Dharam. Sitting down and being quiet. That, I think, is one of the most difficult things you can do, because our minds are so used to, like we said, that instant gratification, that instant sort of, let's do this, let's do that. As soon as you sit down, your mind will be thinking about what I've got to, the next 10 things I need to do in the day, right? So how does one, obviously we're saying that this definitely, by meditating, it supports that ability to have control and support your mental well-being. How do you actually address that ability to calm the mind down? Is it an easy thing to do?
It's like sitting down and saying to yourself, this is my time. This is time just for myself. I want to recharge myself. I want to be with my being. And my being is being with my soul, which will quieten, and you have to let go of everything else if you want to be in that state.
Yes.
Just letting go of all situations you have encountered during the day or what you still have to encounter. Just let go of it all. Empty yourself and have that little time for yourself. That's the most important thing in our lives, having time for ourselves, which we forget to do.
Agree. Because
It's-
we're always doing stuff for everyone else. Do we need to focus on ourselves? That's the time you need to focus on yourself.
Yes, yes.
But is that easy?
It's easy if you get into a routine of
Sure.
it.
Agreed.
And because you know the end result of it all is better than what it will be if you don't do that.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's easy if you are a strong-willed person also.
Okay.
But if you're not, if you have a flickering mind, it is difficult.
Yes.
The mind can tell you, oh, I still have got this to do, and I've still got that to do, and I need to get going over this. One has to stop all that.
Yes.
You know, that clutter that we have in our mind and that chatter that we have in our mind that keeps on saying to us, you have to do this, you have to do this.
Yeah.
Tell yourself you don't have to do
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
You need to sit down and be quiet.
Agreed.
And focus on yourself, because you are the energy, you are the source. Connect yourself. You have got the source within you. Connect yourself, recharge yourself, and then get going. Whatever has to be done can be done. But our willpower sometimes does stop us. It is a very difficult thing, but we have to overcome it.
Yes.
And just tell yourself, everything else is not important.
At this point in time. Yeah.
Yourself is more important than anything.
It's being selfish, right? Be selfish for 20 minutes of the day almost.
It's not being selfish. It's being to deal with things in a 100% concentrated mind.
Yeah.
So when you're going to give to something, give it in a 100% way.
Yeah.
Not in a half-hearted way.
Yeah, agreed. You've got to give your full self to it, that's for sure.
Yeah. So give yourself into something all the way along.
Yeah.
Give in all your energy.
And you'll reap the rewards from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when one handles things in half-hearted way, you're neither here, neither there.
Yeah, I fully agree with
And
that.
it's not fruitful.
Yeah.
So whatever mission one has, do it in full concentrated way, and that way it becomes a success.
So as you were saying there, Vinay, like it's you got to give you 100% there. But I think switching it slightly, Vinay, this world we live in, 21st century, is so full on. We're doing so much.
Yes.
Mental well-being has become a buzzword as well. But how in this really fast-paced lifestyle we're living, how do you actually give that full 100%? I guess.
Yeah, it's difficult. Look, we wake up in the morning. We have our own routine.
Yeah.
We wake up, and whether your routine's to go and brush your teeth first, or go for a bath first, or you to have a coffee, and whatever that routine is, your body, from a physical perspective, has got used to that. So it's used to releasing certain hormones, certain chemicals in your body. You know, our bodies are basically pharmacies, right? And it is used to feeling a certain way at a certain time. So if I am used to sort of opening my email up at 9 o'clock in the morning, and then having a snack at 10:30, having lunch at 12, and then going into a meeting not knowing what's going to happen at 2 o'clock.
Sure.
And your body has gone into such a pattern that it knows, and it's again coming back to that unconscious behavior that the body has, that it's doing things automatically without you even knowing that it's doing it, right? And therefore mental well-being doesn't even come part of your conscious mind at that point, right? And sometimes it's having that little thought, having that little spark or little point in a day. Like I've set an alarm at 10:30 on my watch, and every 10:30 in the morning it rings, and that's a mental reminder for me to actually just breathe, to actually just take a step back from my day.
Mhm.
And I have that throughout the day. I have 2 or 3
Slots.
times slots in the day
Yeah.
where then that happens, where I remind myself that I've got the world, I've got everything to deal with, but I'm not going to be able to deal with it if my mental state is not right,
Yes.
if my emotional state is not right. And then whether I play something for 2 minutes just to calm myself down,
Yeah.
or like Vinanti says, taking that step back, sitting down, just gathering your thoughts again, and then also having that point where thoughts no longer come into your mind.
Yes.
In my head, I visualize a volume control.
Yeah. Great.
and
Turn
I
it
think
down.
of it, and I think of it as it's the analyzer, it's my mind analyzer.
Yeah. Okay.
And when I turn it down, that's instructing my mind to stop analyzing
Yeah.
everything I'm doing and just breathe, just be within yourself, just be yourself for that 5 minutes or so.
Okay.
And then that again gives me the drive, the energy
Continue, right?
to continue.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And some people can go a day without doing that,
Mhm.
and they're fine. Some people, it may take, they need to do it every few hours. And in my personal journey, the place I'm at is where I am, those hours are increasing now.
Okay.
Because now I'm able to deal with things in such a way that I'm not letting the emotion get
Control
the best
you.
of me.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a big topic in
Mhm.
itself. You have lots of people who don't stop, who then have depression, anxiety, through different various traumas or thought patterns that they've developed over the years. You know, your thinking plays a crucial part in that, and that's always going to be there, right? If you look at the modern day now, with the intervention of technology, I've got 2 beautiful sons, and they would like to have an iPad while they're eating, or they would like to watch something
Yeah.
while they're winding down at the day.
Is
and
that actually winding them down? That's the
no, it's
question.
absolutely not. And through the other things that I do in my life, it's actually taught me, and spirituality, meditation has actually taught me that there are certain times when certain things are not helping,
Yes.
right? And it's really trying to also look into that to say, okay, am I equipping my kids with the right tools, or are they going to get anxiety the moment they don't have that one thing?
Yeah. And I guess that's also comes to the point of slightly off topic, but the dynamic between parents and children, and
Yes.
if you showcase those abilities to control that, is that then going to be, again, osmosis? Can they then take that into their own lifestyle and adapt it, right?
Absolutely, because if your body is used to feeling a certain way, if I'm used to watching a Netflix show, for
Yeah.
example, at 8:30 every night or 9 o'clock every night, my mind is not going to focus on absolutely anything else but that, because that is the pattern that I've formed.
Yeah.
Those are the chemicals being released in my mind, and therefore, if I don't get that effect, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Right? And therefore, I'll be craving that. Right? And that's when you become the role model. That's when you become that person that actually, if we live in a circadian pattern, day and night, right? Certain chemicals are produced during the day, certain chemicals are produced at night. And if you're going to be, let's say, watching a screen at night, when your chemical that should be produced in your body should be to calm you down,
Yep.
that doesn't get produced. So therefore, you go into insomnia and all these other health
Issues.
effects that are coming up in especially children now. And there needs to be, I think, more awareness of not saying, okay, you can't have that. No, absolutely, you can have everything you want.
In moderation.
In moderation, but where is your toolbox? Where is
Yes.
all the tools in
To
your
have that
day-to-day
in-
life?
I think it's a great point, and for myself personally, I think spirituality and Manav Dharam, especially through meditation, has helped me to learn a lot about myself firstly, but also it's ingrained this sort of thought process in my body now, where I'll say, to support my mental well-being, how does this, whatever's happening, actually impact me? Does it impact me? if it doesn't, why am I letting it penetrate my brain and my mental well-being? So that's one thing I think I've learned. I think previously when I was a bit younger, I would let everything probably come into my mind and impact me.
Yeah.
So through meditation, through being involved in Manav Dharam, I've sort of learnt to understand, question yourself, is that actually going to be an issue for me? And if it's not, block it out. Easier said than done, I know. It's taken me quite a few years to be like, if it's not actually a direct impact on me, why should I worry about it? Why should I create this negativity in my own mind? And this leads nicely onto my sort of thought, and I just shared a slight personal piece there, but from your perspectives, can you share like a personal experience maybe where spirituality has supported your mental well-being and Vinai, from your perspective?
Yes. We have had a couple of situations, and every time we have learned a lot more from it.
Yes.
Like there was an incident when Sagar was at his office, he's my husband, and there was a bomb blast at just opposite his office building at the American Embassy. And the bomb blast happened in the middle of the day, and the office was running as normal. And so the instinct was for everybody to just run out of the building. Because the windows were getting broken, the wind was blowing, the papers were getting blown out of the buildings. So everybody started to run down the stairs, some from the emergency exit, some from the main exit. And everybody just ran out of the building. And so everybody had got cuts on themselves, the clothes were torn. But regardless of it all, everybody just ran and ran. And there was a pharmacy. There was this person who was injured, and he saw the pharmacy was open. So he went in, but the pharmacist himself was in a turmoil because he was also quite near to the building where the bomb blast happened. So he couldn't do anything. And this person kept running. And he ran, and his eyes were bleeding, his face was bleeding because the glass had cut him. And he couldn't really see, but he ran, and he ran towards a doctor's surgery who was an eye specialist, and got there. And luckily for him, the doctor had just finished handling with one patient, and this person walks in. And he cleaned him up, and he sorted his injuries and everything. And the person was feeling comfortable, so the doctor was kind enough. He said, I know you can't drive now back home, but I will drop you home to your house. This was in Nairobi, so everybody is very close community. And so the doctor went and dropped him home, and this person walks in. He's quite cheerful about everything that's happened. He's looking like Corky the cat, with the torn clothes and everything. But he's quite comfortable with the situation, and he relates what's happened. So we all wonder, and we accept what's happened, and we look at him. And there was something that enabled this person to keep running to the surgery, who took him there, almost held his hand and took him there, got him cleaned up. And it made you think, what was that? Mm-hmm. That was the nearest and the best friend that we have, and that is our soul, the energy that we have. And from Manav Dharam's teaching, I have realized how close that energy is with us, how much it is guiding us, how much it is protecting us, and putting us from a difficult situation, rising above that negativity into a positive situation. And that's what Manav Dharam does. Yeah. It lifts you up and removes all the negativity and puts one into a very positive way of thinking. Right. And I think that's what the world needs at the moment.
Definitely.
There's so much negativity in the world. We are seeing bomb blasts every day. People have become immune to them.
Agreed. Yeah.
It's sad,
but
that's what's happening to the world. Children are getting exposed to their Wi-Fis and their telephones and all sorts of things,
Yeah.
which a lot of parents feel comfortable that they can do this for their child because it's sort of upmanship and keeping up with the Joneses.
Yeah.
That's what everybody else is doing. And instead of encouraging the children to be quiet, to sit down quietly for a few moments, just think of the day you've had, what situations were not comfortable, what situations were comfortable, what was good at school, where did you do well, where did you score well. Parents have handed these phones and children are sitting there like this. It really upsets my heart to see children are losing out so much time
But
on this.
this is where we're saying about children's mental well-being as well. It's quite important
Of
there.
course.
Like you said, reflecting. Children need to reflect. I think personally, I asked my nieces and nephews, "How was your day at school?" They'll be like, "All right." So
Yeah, and I think that's an important piece that you've just talked about there, and Vinanti also touched up upon it. You know, we're in a fight or flight response mechanism
Yeah,
on a
definitely.
day-to-day being, and that's how the society in general is starting to become, right?
Yep.
And it's again coming back to your state of you don't need to be stressed all day long. You don't need to be doing this or that or the other. You don't need to be exposed to information all day long. And again, it's coming back to what tools do you have to bring down your analysis? What tools do you have in your toolbox? Now, personally speaking, again, when I meditate, when I sit down and start putting myself back together, it's drawing energy. And it's drawing energy. I don't know where it's coming from. It's coming from where in the universe, and it's filling and recharging my batteries now. Yeah, your physical body needs to be recharged, but
of course,
you have an infinite source of energy within you. When do we even have the chance to show the next generation what that is? And that is getting lost throughout the years and the decades that are going by.
Mhm.
That we're not showing them the infinite energy that we have within to be able to then deal with the finite energy we have in our physical presence.
Definitely.
And that in itself, when you're depleted, your energy from your physical body, your mind's also depleted, physical energy.
So this is where we're also probably saying that I think it's quite important, and I know your children are involved in Manav Dharam as well,
Yes,
Vinay. But if you start that journey early,
Yes.
do we think that has a bigger impact on children's lifestyles?
Absolutely. I think it starts to bring in a little bit of perspective.
Yeah.
Right? It's starting to bring that togetherness again. In this modern world that we live in, everyone's out there for themselves, right?
Agreed, fully
And
agree.
it's really starting to bring that together. That no, you're not out there alone. You're not out there by yourself. You don't have to deal with everything and show that you're macho from the outside, right? Everyone has a breaking point. Everyone has a point where they need the support. And what Manav Dharam has also enabled my children, I think, to learn and progress in is to sit down themselves after a long day, but also to have that inclusiveness, to have that togetherness, to have that support structure. Start with yourself first, which then flows into the family, which then flows into the society. You can't go trying to fix a society's problem by you not starting yourself.
Yeah. We've spoken about Manav Dharam and how it supported both of you in your sort of mental well-being journeys. But then also at the same time, how do you deal with the worldly pressures that we have, the body and mind and conflict? Like, how do does Manav Dharam support you in that? And if it does, in what ways does it support you in that body and mind conflict that we go through?
Yes, Manav Dharam does support in that. Like the great understanding that we get that our body is the great temple, the synagogue, the church, the mosque of the world. This is the body where the divine is living. So this body has to be dealt with very carefully.
Yeah, definitely.
it has to be handled with all good products. Eating well helps in mental well-being,
Definitely.
because when the body is in balance, the mind will be good. So taking care of the body is very, very important. It's a part that is housing the divine energy. The energy is within us, and it needs to be protected by a good, appropriate premises.
Yeah, definitely.
So we have to look after ourselves, and the mental well-being comes through a good body also.
Yep.
Because if there is anything inflicting us, like a disease, a cold or something, the energy level just drops.
Yeah, massively.
And we need to recuperate
Mhm.
and charge ourselves again.
Yep.
So mental well-being goes hand in hand with the body,
Yep.
care of the body. And because with the body, we have got the brain. There are two parts of the brain. And the brain, one side, like the left-hand side, takes in a lot of information during the day.
Yep.
The right side is listening to everything, but is calm and collected. So when we sit down in meditation, the right side takes over.
Mhm.
It helps us to filter out things which we don't need.
Yeah.
It helps us to get rid of things which are not necessary at all.
Agreed.
But during the day, we have encountered them, and they are passed on to the left side of the brain. So the right side of the brain is where we need to touch ourselves, which we forget to do. And sometimes we find it very difficult to do.
Yeah.
And Manav Dharam enables us to do that.
It's almost giving you the key to the door.
Yes.
But once you open the door, you still have to walk through it.
Yes.
And that's probably the most difficult part, right?
Absolutely, that's the most difficult part, and it's continuing that journey forward. I think is very crucial, but important, but easily just thought, oh, no, I don't have time today.
Yeah.
I don't have this, or I don't feel right today.
Yeah.
And again, personally speaking, what meditation and spirituality has done in my life is given me the ability to not only control my thoughts, because it's not always about controlling your thoughts, but it's also about signaling your body. Again, touching upon what Vinai has just said, that your body is your temple, right? Again, there are ways and techniques where you can self-sustain it, and whether you like it or not, spirituality plays a big part in that. And I've been able to remain healthy because you're signaling genes in the right way. There's a whole biology behind that. There's a whole chemistry behind that you're signaling genes in the right way. You're signaling your hormones in the right way. Therefore, your body starts to work in the right way it needs to. Therefore, you start to eat the right things subsequently anyway because of that. Your emotional state then that changes, and essentially once your emotional state starts to change, you're able to cope with your mental well-being. You're able to then work and cope with the day-to-day life, and also then flourish yourself, because we think of flourishing as a person, as a human being. Sometimes in this world is a bit of a, oh God, he's got so much money, and oh God, he's got so much of this, and this person is this, and this person's that. But you bring it back to yourself, right? And if you're flourishing in every part of your life, what better way? And I think personally for myself, that's the best thing that's ever happened to me. That's ignited that spark, and I'm able to not only control my mental well-being, but my physical well-being. I'm able to be that person not only for my family, but for myself,
which is the most important part. And I think, like you referred to that, it's that domino effect. As soon as you can start, but that's the most difficult part. That first domino to fall will then slowly bring everything into play.
Absolutely, because the whole society, we don't have to fix everyone out there, do we?
No.
We've got to fix ourselves first.
Correct.
And once you fix yourself, you're making the right decisions, you're in the right state of mind, you're signaling the right chemicals in your body, and at that point you're becoming the true person.
Yep.
You're knowing yourself
Self.
first.
Exactly.
Manav Dharam has, for me, I think I feel that way. It has given me a sort of a filter system also.
Yes.
You filter out whatever is good for you, what is good for yourself and for the beings around you.
Yeah.
What is comfortable for you, what you are happy with, and what makes you contented with. When one is contented, then a lot of things calm down.
Yes, definitely.
And having calm food, which are less acidic to the body,
Yeah.
and being contented with what one has, whatever one has achieved, and not being in a comparative situation all the time with everybody else, so that this one has done this one has achieved this.
Yeah.
This. Do what you are comfortable with.
Okay.
Love
So-
yourself first. Be happy in yourself.
Mm.
And then share it with everybody.
Everyone else.
Sorry, I was just going to say
Yeah,
one
go.
final thought. I think just wrapping up what Veena and you were saying
Yeah.
is being the best version of yourself,
Yes. That's the
Yes.
most
Which is key.
important thing.
Mm.
which is an important thing.
Yeah.
Because once you're the best version of yourself, materialistic things will follow.
Yep.
Once you're the best person for yourself, once you are the best version of yourself, you see, we often do it the wrong way around. We want materialistic things to feel good.
Yep.
You've got to feel good for that to be attracted to you.
Agree.
And that's, in my personal opinion, I feel that that's how it's worked for me.
Definitely. Some great thoughts throughout this whole podcast. So firstly, a huge thank you for you both joining us today on this podcast about mental well-being. We know a very different, big topic, lots to cover in there, but
Yes.
thank you for being so open and sharing all your different personal thoughts around that. So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
No
Thank you
problem at
for
all.
having asked us. And it's just sharing our experiences.
Exactly. So thank you again both for coming along and sharing all your thoughts. It's been great to have you here, and we hope to have you again soon on the podcast. So to summarize, as both of our guests today have spoken, how Manav Dharam has been one key factor to support them in their mental well-being, whether it's needing a moment to sit down and be quiet being one of the key things, how to recharge our energy being one of the key drivers, and that's either via meditation or giving your mind the ability to sort itself out. Also, how Manav Dharam supports dilution of negativity with positivity, and how one of the big questions raised was how children's well-being is so important these days. Are we providing them the right tools? That is going to be a key question for us. And finally, loving yourself and being the best version of yourself is one of the key important factors for your mental well-being. Thank you all for joining us today on the Modern Day Spirituality Podcast. We'll see you again soon. Take care. Join us next Wednesday, 5 p.m. Indian Standard Time, 12:30 p.m. British Summer Time, and 7:30 a.m. US Eastern Time for the next episode of the Modern Day Spirituality Podcast. And if you like the podcast, don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, and share. See you next Wednesday.